You're listening to Tiim Talks, Taking Interest in Ministry, a conversation between two great friends with over 70 years of ministry between them. Ministering on opposite sides of the border, Dr. Al Stone is the General Director of Bearing Precious Seed Canada and Pastor Emeritus of the Bible Baptist Church in St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada, while Pastor Dan Wolven pastors the North Columbus Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio. Listen now as Al and Dan review and relate their experiences in hopes of helping others who are taking an interest in ministry. Now, here is Tiim Talks.
Welcome everyone to episode 1000 of Tiim Talks. From the sacred Tim Hortons cup, 60th anniversary.
Even to roll up.
Yeah, roll up.
Roll up the rim.
You can't roll it up, but you're supposed to. Tim Hortons' 60th anniversary. Tim Hortons, look at that. Awesome.
I wanted to do this so you know it's not vodka or gin.
Well, when we're not together, I sometimes question. Welcome,
Cheers
everybody. Welcome,
to
everyone.
1000.
No, wait. Don't drink it out of that simple old glass. I have something very special for you.
Whoa.
Yeah, one of our faithful listeners, Jeff Page in St. Thomas,
Awesome.
who has a beam above engraving, wanted me to give you something.
Okay.
We were just at the men's meeting in Simcoe, and he goes, for your 1000th episode,
That's
your faithful
awesome.
listener, he got us these cups. So he got me this one, Pastor Al Stone, and Tiim Talks, 1,000 episodes. Tiim Talks and growing. I don't know if that's up or out, and then there's a QR code that takes you to our page. On the back, 1,000 episodes, Tiim Talks, and avid listeners, a beam above right there. So thank you very much for that, Jeff. And he's got one for you, and it's got your name on it, Pastor Wolven.
This is great.
And he told me that when you do the QR code with your phone, if you do it on my phone, it takes you to a picture of me. Mm-hmm. And if you do it on your phone, it takes you to a picture of me. So there you go. So that's for you.
All right.
I'm going to put my coffee.
So much.
I'm putting my
This
coffee in
is
this one.
great.
That's awesome.
This
So,
is great.
thank
Mine's
you for
not
that.
cleaned out, so I'm not going to use
Listen to
mine
that.
yet.
Listen to that sound. Oh,
1,000 episodes.
That's right.
Tiim Talks.
There you go.
QR code.
Yep.
Pastor Wolven.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yep, it's all for you.
And then avid listener,
Yeah.
a beam above. That's his logo. You want to shout out, give
Yeah.
him some love,
Yep.
and
Yep.
employ him. So,
So
that
his
is awesome. Thank you.
his email address is abeamabove@gmail.com, a beam, B-E-A-M above. And then on Facebook, a beam above. And he's there in St. Thomas, and his phone number is 226-373-0871.
That is awesome.
If you're in Canada, especially if you have any church needs for engraving, he is your guy.
That's great.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I have with me, just in case, I want you to know I'm traveling always with my Tim Hortons puck, just in case we get a little low in this episode. I might have to, re-go there. So all fired up. So this is awesome. We are in the sacred bowels.
Yes.
Of
Now
the,
you get to see what
Yeah.
the bowels look like.
Yeah, this is it. It's really nice, actually.
We did have a colonoscopy and cleaned everything up.
Yeah, that was a great movement. So let me start by saying, so many of you have said, we'd love to see what Brother Wolven looks like. This is it. This is what I got to look at every
awesome.
week, right?
Just terrific.
And I've got to set the record straight because we have so many people. I travel and they say, I love Brother Wolven.
Yes.
Well, it's Wolvin. Yeah,
or as my
Wolven.
mother would say, as I was growing up on the phone, WOLV as in Victor, IN.
Wow, that would do it. So there he is.
So now I
That's the
say
guy.
V as in victory.
Victory. Wow. There
That's
you go.
peace.
Peace.
That's victory.
Okay, sure. I'll take it. Winston Churchill
Because-
didn't know.
Churchill cigar.
Yeah, there you
Victory.
go. Victory. There you go. I don't know anything about gin and cigars. I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm a Christian, but 1,000.
1,000. man.
1,000. For those of you that are listening, just in the regular auto recording, this is being videotaped.
Yes.
And we are going to be at Dr. Al Stone on YouTube. Dr. Al Stone, go to my channel, and you'll see us there.
And I'll put it on North Columbus Baptist Church
There you
channel
go.
as well.
There you go. So you can.
But it's got to stay off of Baptist Ed channel.
Why?
I've got standards.
Oh, very low standards.
Actually, we're more like a cartoon than real life.
We
So
really are. So for those of you that always wondered, we've had a lot of people ask us if we could do this, but it's just too hard. With
well,
you
yeah,
being
we'd have
here-
to be in the same place.
Yeah.
And then to try to get it live
Yeah.
would be a logistical nightmare
Oh.
with two two places, always doing it at the same time. Your schedule's different. My schedule's different.
Right.
And it's a miracle that we just get to record.
Yeah, it really is. And it's worked out well. 1,000 episodes.
That's amazing.
That's 6.5 years. It's taken 6.4 years is what it is. So, and we've done.
We
almost
did have
all
a
of them.
time off for what, maybe about 4 months or so. Whenever I
something like
got that atrial fib and had to sort of
I got sick
recoup
of
a little bit.
I just got sick. It really is what happened.
And my heart just wasn't right.
It wasn't, but now his heart's right. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
We're all good. So we have a ton of fun doing this, and we got some folks we need to thank. Mike Harness.
Yes.
For those of you
Thank
that
you,
faithfully
Mike.
listen, you've heard his voice 1,000 times. The voice of Tiim Talks.
2,000 times.
Well,
Opening and closing.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
2,000. And we'll let you know that we've talked to Brother Mike. We're going to change our opening because
To 80 years.
80 years of experience.
80 years.
Whew, that's a
Because you're at 40 and I'm at 42. So
82 years, but we'll go 80.
You're
Let's keep it
over
round.
80 years. Yeah.
That's right. So he'll be doing that, and I'm excited about that. He's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
Brother Mike does the music at the Cleveland Baptist Church, and he and Doug Schweitzer and Dave Carnicolis were just at our Man Up conference and sang for us.
Oh, awesome.
We didn't have a name for them, so I just called them the CBC3.
There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty catchy. So they did a great job, and so he does that. And he told me this. I didn't tell you this yet. He said he went through a time when he wasn't sure what he was going to do in ministry. He was in ministry full time, and he just didn't. It's just maybe his heart wasn't there or whatever. So he was going to leave, and he's going to go into policing. And he said, that just didn't work out. I was so torn. I didn't know what to do. He goes, listening to Tiim Talks helped me get through that time.
That's awesome.
And determine what the Lord
Amen,
wanted in my
brother.
life. And so he's back in the ministry full time. And so we praise the Lord for that. And that's really what we started this for,
Yes.
was to be able to help people in ministry, wanting to go into ministry. And
Well, we actually started because we wanted to goof around a lot.
yeah, that's right. Because somebody said, hey, do you know what a podcast is? And we said, we have no idea. No
Exactly.
idea. We still
You know,
don't.
Can you imagine?
Oh,
I mean, 6.5 years ago, and of course, if you've listened a lot, we've heard the story before. But my son came in; he was young 30s, and he said, "Hey, Dad, you know, there is not a single Baptist podcast on the internet."
yeah.
And I said, "Well," he said, "No, you got a lot of podcasts. It's just a replay of a message." He said, "But you got all these guys. They're Calvinists or New Calvinist or evangelical. We don't have any independent Baptist podcasts." And so we started sort of researching it, and we practiced a little bit. And how about this? I did keep those original.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did keep those original ones, and we're trying to like co-teach.
Yeah.
It was dry, and so Steve said once again, he's listening, and so reviewing the precursors, and he said, as I was growing up, I would love to go out to eat with you pastors and just sit and listen to the stories. They were awesome, and he said, just have a conversation like it's after church and you're sitting around the table, eating or snacking or drinking a cup of coffee and you're just talking. And so we tried it and we had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
No pressure then.
When we first started out, it was me asking you questions.
Yes, we tried this interview thing
Yeah.
and it didn't work. Then we tried to co-teach and
No. So then we just started goofing off and bam.
Oh, yeah.
Bam. Here we are 1,000
Success.
episodes later. And I've had so many people say, what I really like is I feel like I'm just sitting there with you guys. And that's exactly this
the
is
whole
it.
point. Yep.
And so the premise behind this was in Canada, if we were going to go somewhere and sit and talk, we'd go to Tim Hortons. And you'd come up with, the name of the program. And so I said, well, we need to incorporate that in. And so Tim Hortons kind of came out of that thing. And so that's why the drink of the coffee and, the Canadian aspect. And then
TED Talks was just
Talks.
really taken off.
Right.
And so we thought, Tiim Talks.
Tiim Talks.
Tiim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taking interest in
Because
ministry.
there is a Tiim Talk somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're doing. But so when we started this, we couldn't use Tiim Talks. We had to use Tiim.
Yeah, they're long gone. They never made it. They didn't have a chance. Did not have a chance. So that's what it is. So
now you can see when I laugh, I usually tilt my head back and just
it
boils out.
And it's a belly laugh. And you can obviously see where
And
that comes from.
I've got a belly.
Yeah, I got a belly. So I was going to do this. I should have done it when we started. I was going to start out like this. Welcome to Tiim Talks. I should have done it. That'd been good. So for those of you that know, often I make fun of my weight and also Brother Wolven's height. And you can see there's a little bit of a difference. It's not that much, really.
I've got my chair jacked up a little
You
bit.
do. And that and that big pillow helps too.
No, that's not a pillow.
Oh, it's a pillow. Sorry. So that's where it is. What's been your favorite part of doing this, you think?
You know, I think my favorite part has been staying relevant. I really enjoy hearing things that are going on, and it's sort of causing me to pay attention to what all is going on around me. And so I've had to stay a little bit more alert to things that are going on. It's so easy to just get in your bubble.
Yeah.
And our nose is down, nose to the grindstone. We're just looking at my church, not mine like I own it, but I'm involved in it. And so I never look up, and it's so easy. And all of a sudden 7 or 8 years pass by, and you just trying to just been drilling into the ministry and teaching and helping and evangelizing. And all of a sudden you look up and go, oh, where are we?
Yeah.
You know, so that's probably my favorite part. How about you?
Yeah, I think just knowing that people's lives have been touched by what we do. A lot of young people, listening. A lot of college age, and that really was our target audience. And a lot of them have said, you're touching on topics that are relevant, and not a lot of guys will talk about it. Most of you have noticed that I try to take. Not so much of a far right stance. Brother Wolven usually takes the far right stance. I try to stay a little left of that, just to be a voice for those who are
Joe Biden stance.
The Joe Biden,
Just,
not the Justin Trudeau stance.
Median road.
No, right, yeah. I've tried to be a voice for those that maybe are questioning, wondering, studying, and so that you've got that voice, and so that
makes
been
me
awesome.
the voice of people who have no study, no thought process.
You're just
we're
locked
entrenched,
in.
and I'll never move and
That's
never
the one.
change.
That's the one, exactly. And I'm the one that would maybe one day drink a Starbucks.
Well, I sure won't.
No. I tried to talk him into one more Tim Hortons, but he wouldn't do it.
No way.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't handle it.
It took me a whole podcast to drink that thing, and that was like torture.
Yeah. What do you think's been the toughest part of doing this?
Probably admitting my failures and mistakes. I mean, when we start really thinking outside the box and trying to take a step back and sort of look and see what we're doing, wow, I see a lot of failings and a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And, when you're trying to be transparent and, we're trying to warp the future generation to meet up with us, and that doesn't always work. So
No. I think the hardest is for me, obviously, scheduling. That's a bit
when you're on the
tricky.
road,
when I'm on the road,
Oh,
it's
man.
tricky. It's tricky.
I'm here, so we got a studio, got everything. All I basically have to do is come in, plug in, turn on, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, but the problem is you're the pastor, you're the youth pastor. You are doing Awake America. You're doing Baptist Ed. You're going to preachers' meetings. All those kind of things as well. So you got a lot. When I'm on the road, I mean, I'm in a hotel room usually somewhere or a nursery of a church. This seems to be where I end up most of the times. And so that's not too bad for me. But just getting that together sometimes is a little bit difficult. And then of course, getting everything edited out and on air in time. And we've had a couple glitches. Technical glitches over the year, but really not that many.
That bad.
No, it really hasn't been. And
I think we have good quality.
I think so.
Yeah.
It took us a little bit. I had to work through a couple different microphones and just, I was under the stairwell for a while in my house,
Yes.
trying to get the right acoustics, and, you don't want a lot of reverb and all that kind of stuff. So that took a little bit, but I think that, and then I think realizing that we are in a time of change.
Yes.
And that's hard for guys that are a little bit older. We were pretty established, and trying to help people that are moving not away from where we were, but just a repositioning within where we were, trying to
Yes.
help and be helpful in that. I think that's been a little bit of a learning curve for me.
I'll tell you what's been awesome is the number of you people that
Oh.
wind up contacting us and
Yes.
then meeting you in different places. Of course, you're out more than I am.
Yeah.
And it seems like almost everywhere I go, somebody will mention
Yeah.
the podcast or there's that laugh or something like that
Right.
to show, or they'll make a comment, has Brother Rice been listening?
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that. So it shows that they've been tuned in.
Yeah.
And that is sort of humbling.
It kind of throws me off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be somewhere and they'll say, such and such. And I'm like, how did they know that? And they're like, well, you just said it yesterday on the podcast. I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's right. People are actually listening. So that is cool. And then one of the neat ones, I was in Tennessee and I'm sitting in a pew and I'm talking to somebody and the people in front of me said, You're Dr. Stone. You're Dr. Al Stone. I said, yeah, from Tiim Talks. I'm like, yeah. And they said, we recognize your voice from Tiim Talks. So that was kind of cool. And they're still faithful listeners. So that was
Yes.
awesome. But yeah, I like that. And a lot of kids have imitated the slurp. A lot of people try to
Yes.
imitate the laugh. So that's kind of key. It's very
It's
flattering.
easier to imitate the slurp than the laugh.
The laugh is,
You have to be half
Yeah.
demented,
yeah. Well,
half evil, half lunatic.
I've got to tell you, I hear far more people say we listen for the laugh than they do the slurp. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, that's unusual. Where you got that, I don't know.
My dad.
Yeah,
My
that's
dad would
true.
laugh the same way, tilt his head back,
Yeah.
and out it just rolled.
Yeah, I think he was even a little higher. He laughed pretty high, like a high pitch.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
But I've had this laugh all my life. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember 5 years old in church, wooden pews. Actually, I had a vinyl bottom but a wooden back. And we're at Cleveland Baptist Church.
Was there a big native child
and
sitting next
there's
to you?
Bruce Musselman was singing. And I asked my mom, I leaned up and I said, what is his name? And my mom said, Mr. Musselman, because that was the era
Yeah.
you don't tell people's first name. They're an adult. And so I'm sitting there 5 years old, Mr. Musselman.
I can see you.
Mr. Muscle Man. And he didn't look like a bodybuilder.
No,
at
he
all.
wasn't a muscle man.
And I went, ah! And I banged my head back on the pew, on the wooden pew, and I'm laughing loud. And my mom just went smack, right in my
Yeah,
leg. All of a
yeah.
sudden I stopped laughing, But
Yeah.
that's the first time I realized my laugh
Right.
got me into trouble.
Wow.
So,
Well, yeah. So it's been awesome.
and about 20 some years later,
Yeah.
Steve was sitting in church, and he was about 5, and he said, who is that? And I said, Mr. Musselman. And now I'm looking at him
What
out the
goes
corner of
around?
my eye, and he's going, no, he was better because he went,
Yeah.
so I didn't have to smack his
No,
leg.
it's good. That time. We also need to thank some folks who are going to help us going forward.
Absolutely.
We put a call out, man, it seems like years ago now, but it
I
was
know it
about
does.
6 months ago.
Yes.
And we said, if you would like to try and do an introduction, or if you would like to do, a theme song or something like that, you can help us out. And we had some folks that actually did that.
Awesome.
And we're going to play some of those for you. Of course, we don't have the
We'll put it in.
video, but we have a young lady by the name of Lena Sowers. And Lena wrote a little song for us. And she's young, just a young girl. And so she did that for us. And we're going to listen to a little bit.
Here it is. Go, Lena.
Tiim Talks. Tiim Talks.
All right. There you go.
There you
Good
go.
beginning.
Thank you, Lena.
Good start.
And then we had a young man from Canada. His name is Jonathan Lee, and Jonathan's a great guy. He's the guy that gave me the cup with Captain Canada
Oh,
on
yes,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, great kid. And he's got a tremendous voice. And if he was going to do our introduction, here's what Jonathan would sound like.
Welcome to Tiim Talks with your two hosts, Dan Mulvin, pastor of North Columbus Baptist Church in Columbus, Ohio, and Dr. Al Stone, pastor emeritus of Bible Baptist Church in St. Thomas, Ontario, and general director of Bearing Precious Seed Canada. With over 7 decades of experience ministering on both sides of the border, listen as they try their best to help you who are taking an interest in ministry.
What a voice.
Wow.
What a voice. That kid's got a voice for radio. I'm telling you right now.
I've got a face for radio.
Yeah, for sure.
As you can tell now.
Yeah, that's right. And then the last one is another young man from Canada. This is a pastor's son from out in British Columbia. His name is Stephen Allen. And Stephen's very talented. Very talented young man. I don't think he reads a lick of music. He probably reads it, but he never uses it.
Oh.
But he's very talented, and he wrote a little opening song for us. And then he did a little break. So if we said we'll be right back, we'd play that little break. And I think we're going to use that going forward. It's pretty
neat.
good. It's kind of neat. So we're going to play, first of all, his little piano introduction for Tiim Talks. And then we'll come back for just a second and then give you that break. Here is Stephen Allen on the piano. But it sounds like a clarinet.
He does have talent.
Guy's good.
That's a good sound.
Here's the little break, and this is Sammy does like a little 4-part harmony thing, and this is Stephen Allen doing that.
You're listening to Tiim Talks.
Is that great or what?
Awesome.
I love it.
That is
I love
awesome.
it. Good job. Good job. So we'll be using some of those in the future, and I want to thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And we're going to send each of them a gift card. Probably Tim Hortons.
Awesome.
Probably Tim Hortons or something like that so that we can show our appreciation for you doing
That's
that.
great.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your
very,
participation.
very much. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And for those who have joined us on our podcast over the years, we've had a number of pastors who have joined us.
Oh, yes.
We love having guests in. Again, it's kind of a difficult process to do it. We just did one with Brother Dameron a few weeks ago. And to be honest, getting the quality of sound good through a Zoom call is very difficult.
Yes, it is.
And there's a time difference. And I think editing that one, it took me almost 2 hours to edit that so that it would sound decent. So
It's a little bit longer of a podcast,
it was a little bit longer too, yeah. But it was good. And we enjoyed doing that. So it's nice to do that.
That's
and
been a blessing. Most of the time, when somebody is not here in Columbus and we can sort of meet up together, maybe you're with somebody or I'm with somebody.
Right.
But we still have to go on FaceTime or Zoom. And once we do that, we'll record on these microphones, each individually, and then we'll have to assemble it and put it together. So the only way to get that initial start right is we'll come backward. 3, 2, 1, start. And so that we know where to match them and where to splice them correctly. And so it's very difficult, even while we're videoing together and with our wives. We still want to go 3, 2, 1. It's such a habit, 1,000 times.
And we always do it in the air so we can see it.
Yes.
Right.
So you can see each other's fingers. Yeah.
Because in the early days, before there was really good, FaceTime and really good.
We had to do it just phones.
Yeah.
And so we will wear hearing apparatus so it doesn't come through the microphone on each of us. And so it's difficult when you're trying to add a third person in there.
And what's really difficult is when one guy is almost deaf and he hears hearing aids, and he has to keep them so high to hear that it comes through the microphone.
What?
Exactly. So then I've got to go in and use a special filter to filter that out. And the other thing you hear is once in a while you'll hear a thud or you'll hear a little bang like that. Brother Wolven, when he talks, loves to bang on the table.
Yes, you'll see me. I've got to have something in my hands. I'm fiddling with the microphone. I'm fiddling with the table. I'm holding things and I'll drop it on the table. On the other table, I have a mat.
Yeah.
So it sort of cushions if I drop something. But
yeah. I had to get on him about that a little bit because I'm editing that through and I keep hearing this bang, bang.
Boom,
what's going on?
Yeah.
And I realized that when I put my cup down, sometimes you get that. So I had to figure that out and I have to look for that. So, but that's all part of the game.
I used to have to mix them all together, and I just ran out of time, and it was really hard. And then Brother Stone said, "Hey, I'll start."
Yeah.
And so we had a little pre-format thing that would try to go by, and you have taken the bulk of the work on there, and I appreciate it
Well, it's been fun.
very, very much.
Well, I've had the time to do it.
Yeah.
Leaving the pastorate, I had the time, and I knew the workload that you had, and it was just another thing. And I've enjoyed doing it. I love video. I love audio video stuff. I've done it for a very long time. Had a radio program at home for a while, and actually worked in radio in Cleveland, and then did TV in St. Thomas. So I've really enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, we had a couple of good
Yes, we did.
videos.
Oh, we had a great video one time. I told him, I said, "Now listen, you gotta be quiet. You can't make any sounds. We got to do this little
And I said,
pre-setup."
"You're gonna laugh." And he went, "Oh no,
No,
I won't laugh. I'm really getting professional. I'm getting to where I can really do this." And so I said, "I guarantee you're gonna laugh." No, I really won't. And so, unbeknownst to him, I had taken I'd taken a piece of white paper and I rolled it together, and then I put a piece of masking tape on the end like a filter tip on a cigarette.
Sure.
And so he's looking at the camera and welcome, and so I'm sitting next to him like this, and he never looks at me. He's talking to the camera because we weren't able to even see like what you can do on video cameras now. And so he goes, "So, Brother Woven," and he turns down, and I said, "Well, actually," and you lost it, man. You lost it.
I lost it. And then
We couldn't get stopped.
Well, then there was the other one where.
And you couldn't splice it. We'd do it all over again.
Oh yeah, I couldn't splice it.
So every time we'd start laughing, and then we'd get 12, 14 minutes into one program, and the dog is leaning down.
Yes.
I mean, it was a very professional setup. He had his microphone on this little crackers box
that's right.
on the floor
Clipped
to pick
on.
us up.
That's right.
And the dog's laying right next to it, Dudley, and he goes, "Boof." Right in the microphone. And he gets up, "I'm going to kick this dog." And I'm, "Look at him. He's animal cruelty."
That's right. We had to
do the whole thing
over.
again.
Oh, I was so mad at that dumb dog. We were almost done too. Woof.
So yes, you were very experienced.
Yeah. So that's I got it.
But so when COVID hit,
Yeah.
now I had come down here, and this is a spare classroom, and so I came down, and I was trying to figure out a way to deaden the sound, and so I put these moving rugs all around and nailed them and screwed them in the walls, and so it did deaden it really well.
Yeah, it was good.
Then when COVID hit, and we were doing videos and all kinds of different things because we didn't have a whole lot of repertoire of things to show, so we were doing brand new videos for church services, and it got to the point where the sound wasn't good, and I finally said, "Hey, this sounds great in that studio downstairs." And so I came up with this idea of putting this all together, and so then it was like, well, might as well do it right. And so I ordered some actual sound deadener blankets and things, and we've got all the lighting, and we've got actually behind us is probably about 6 or 7 different backdrops that will roll up and pull down. And so over the course of years, it's really developed into something pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I've really enjoyed it, but it sort of pushed us. We keep pushing a little bit farther.
Yeah, I'm not a pastor anymore, so I have to tape all my stuff together, and I find stuff in the garbage and try to fix it.
Meaning he doesn't have a church credit card anymore.
Yeah, you're not kidding. So, yeah, no, it's been
But
good.
we have used this room a lot.
Yeah, you have.
A lot over the years.
Yep.
Not just for the podcast, but for many things at church too.
Yeah. We need to thank our wives.
Amen.
They have been very gracious. My wife, many times at home, is in a bedroom or in a side room, and
Yes.
I've told her you can't
Trying
make
to be
any.
quiet,
You can't
yes.
make any noise. Of course, we had the clip clop incident. That was bad.
Clippity clop.
Clippity clop. That's right. that was bad. But they have supported us in this and never given us any trouble. Last week they were on with us, which we always enjoy
And
having
in the
them
next
on.
2 sessions too.
Yeah. Wednesday and Friday they'll be on with us again, a different topic. But they're awesome. Both of them incredible speakers.
They absolutely refused to come on here for a while.
No, well,
They would not come on. And then it's finally, all right, we're going to come on, but we're going to be so terrible. And it was like, bing, they rang the bell. And now every time they're on, it is awesome. And when we four get together,
Oh, it's the best.
we just laugh our heads
It's
off.
the best. We can't ever do anything serious, but it's awesome. And they've been great in supporting that and
Yes.
helping us. And they have said, never ask us to do video. They won't do video. They won't do. My wife will not do video. She said, I just don't like that. So she'll
Well,
do the audio.
As you can see, when I don't do video, I'm robbing the public of something wonderful.
Oh, we should have done this years ago. So we should do this once a month or something now, or, whenever we're together. We probably will do some more like this when we're together.
yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And like I say, people have asked us to do it. So now you know. Now you can see the magic. You know the magic of how it happens. And any favorite episodes?
The
that we did?
natural glow around me.
Yeah, that's a light
And
on the floor.
no, it's my gray hair.
Oh, the gray hair. Yeah. Some lights really identify my gray hair. I'm usually pretty good at covering, but it's
Oh,
getting up
mine.
also.
I'm only 2 years older than you,
I know, but
and I have got.
well, you've lived such a harder life of sin than I have. I wasn't running from the police and pulled up out of the gutter like you were. Any favorite episodes? Any
Oh
that
man,
stick out?
still, my favorite story is still your first day in
Hospital. I know,
ministry.
mine too.
No question.
Mine too.
So that may be like episode 6.
I think it's 8.
And then we got into like the first real topic for a week was the church nursery, and we tried to start serious,
Yeah.
and then we went off on that. That's
Yeah.
episode 10, 11, 12, something like that.
Yeah.
And that started us. I mean,
Yes.
that started us.
When we realized
and
we
then
could
it
get away with
started
the
to
humor.
where
Yeah.
I tried to think of some things where I tried to get you to lose it. Every once in a while, I'll go into our recording sessions, and I'll think, how can I get them to really lose it? If I can get you to where you're
Yeah.
laughing, you can't
Yeah.
even talk. I feel like it's been successful.
Yeah, we've had a
lately.
few of those. So I learned pretty early on that it was better if I let you pick the topic. If there was something that you were passionate about or something that you wanted to do, I found it a little bit harder to keep things rolling if you weren't really invested in it. So many times I'll say, "What do you want to do? What topic do you want to do?" Yeah, here we go.
yeah.
Here we go. Right here.
That's all right.
So.
I disagree.
Well, usually. I would do that. And so I'll send a topic and say, what do you want to do? And if he doesn't have anything, I'll say, well, here's 3 or 4 suggestions, and I let you pick out what you want to do. But
And now
that's how we do it.
we're answering a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
requests.
yeah, I would say probably 70% of what we do now
But
is
the greatest request we won't answer, it says, please stop.
no, we're not doing that. Not yet. How old can you do this till?
Well, however old Smokey Rose wants to go. That was another episode.
Oh, Smokey O'
That was
Rose.
a good.
That
was
was a
one.
good one. Smokey O' Rose. Was
That
a
came
good
out
one.
of nothing.
It did, just out of thin air, and that's our whole lives really together.
Yes.
we just kind of feed off each other. And somebody says something. I learned this in Cleveland. Somebody says something, and if you get a quick wit response, man, and you guys hear that, you hear that on this program all the time. He'll say something, and I'm waiting. I'm
Yes,
biting.
I'm doing the same thing. Yes,
and we put the finger up like
Yeah.
I got something.
I'll write it down.
That's right. And then we come back with a quip. So that's fun. When those things come in, that's really fun. I love doing that. Any episodes that you didn't like to do?
The heavy ones,
Yeah.
talking about loss,
Yeah.
or when you start talking about people who left the church, you hurt all over again.
Yeah, you do.
You're replaying these things, saying, I wish that this wouldn't have happened. I wish it would have done a different way. But you're trying to help other people. And so that's the whole point of that. We're not sitting around commiserating and trying to think of how terrible the ministry is, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
The ministry is just great. But, just the going through some difficult, things, that's tough. Some of the COVID stuff, talking about the things that are going on. And then, we're both like, this can't be true. This can't be true. And then, no, come to find out it's true.
It was true.
Yeah.
It was true. I think you've heard us laugh a lot on this podcast, but you've heard us cry some too. And neither one of us like to cry. That's not us. But we are both.
I don't know. The older I'm getting, the more I'm turning into a puddle of goo.
Well, I know, but I don't like that. I don't
this
wanna do
past Sunday,
Oh, Easter?
No, it was our church
after Easter.
anniversary.
Oh, anniversary, right.
And
sorry.
so one of the songs we're singing, and I just got choked up. And then the piano song, I was ready to bawl. The special, I was ready to cry. And I'm just, I don't know if it's just an emotional day because you think back of, firsts and things. But, oh, man, I'm telling you, I'm getting old. I'm losing it.
Well, I'll tell you what the problem may be, and my dad's helped me with this. So my dad had cancer, and part of the treatment was he had to take estrogen because it's the testosterone that was causing the cancer. And so to balance that, they have to give you estrogen. So my dad's taking this estrogen, which is a female hormone. And so my dad, I go to visit him, and he says, I'm crying all the time. I can't stop crying. I'm crying at everything. He goes, I can't watch a movie. I'm crying. I said, wow, that's not good. He goes, I think I'm going to have to go see a shrink or something. I said, no, I ain't doing that. And he's like, yeah, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. He goes, and these hot flashes, they're killing me. I'm like, Dad, you're turning into a woman. And my wife said, how's it feel? He goes, oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. So that's waning off, praise the Lord. He's feeling much better, but maybe that's the problem.
I'm not like Doc Thompson.
No. Oh, one of the greatest stories of all time. We've told that. He's up, bragging how he doesn't hang out with big shots, and then he starts name dropping on it.
Yes.
And he says,
here's what a well-known preacher.
Yeah. Shelton Smith.
For 2 hours on your way up to the speaking engagement or 3, whatever it was.
Yeah. Yep.
I hope he's not a big shot. I don't like big shots. I don't like to be a big shot.
Yep.
And so then after the message,
they
hung
invited.
out together, and
we went to the pastor's house.
he was
and
big shotting.
He goes, Shelton, you ought to hear my testimony. You would never
After
believe
he
it.
was big shotting.
Oh, big
Oh,
shot.
yeah,
Like
I knew
crazy.
him, and I preached for him, and I preached for that guy.
Right.
And Phil Clayton, Larry Clayton, and you were looking at him
Yeah.
like, who is this guy?
I know. I was like, what's going on in that? Oh, I can.
And so he's going, you ought to hear my testimony. You ought to hear my Brother Smith. If you heard my testimony, you just wouldn't believe it.
He used to be a woman. Oh my goodness. Larry Clayton, big man, is on the floor, rolling on the floor laughing. Phil Clayton is on the couch over on his side, rolling. Shelton Smith's eyes are as big as saucers. And my father-in-law looks over and he goes, you jerk. I loved it. It was one of the best gets I ever
perfect.
got. It was so good. And,
Just perfect.
yeah, speaking of John Wayne,
Yes, speaking of John Wayne.
we both love John Wayne. Old Western movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have True Grit? Do you get the channel? Do you have Grit TV? Is that what it is? Do you have
Probably.
that? Yeah.
I think it's one of the local channels.
Yeah, we don't have that in Canada. So I've watched a lot of YouTube westerns, and several people have commented, and our wives comment on how much we love to see people hang. Yeah,
I don't really care for watching people hang. Mine is not a. It's not a therapeutic.
yeah. How many
watching.
years have you pastored now?
22.
Oh, just wait. Just wait. No, I'm kidding. No, it was a fun gesture we made one time, but no, it's fun. We enjoy that. We have several things we have in common that we enjoy. We love sports. We're not as good at them as we used
I like
to be.
real sports, like baseball and soccer.
Yeah, most girls do. That's
You like
that's the moment.
fake
right there.
sports like hockey.
Yeah, fake. Yeah. Like we used to play in the nursery. That was in that nursery episode. We talked about
Yes,
putting it. I said
they
we
were.
changed our nursery into a hockey rink. We had a little
man, that was
Zamboni,
great.
went around, the kids drove the Zamboni. That was fun. Yeah, we like sports. We like good music. We both like good music.
Amen.
We've learned that we both enjoy cruising, taking a cruise. We really enjoyed that. We did a cruise with these guys.
That was fun.
That was
That
fun.
was fun.
That was.
And I think a lot of it is being with people that you like.
Oh, yeah.
And not just you're stuck with, but people that you really like.
Yeah.
And so Denise and I could go do something, and then you and Ruthy go, but then we'd get together for supper, or maybe we'd say, hey, we're going here, you want to come? No, we're going to read over on this deck or something. But it was just nice.
The best part for us was, of course, eating together. That's always a great experience. We both love to eat. That's pretty obvious. But we would go up into what's called the crow's nest at the front of the
Yes.
ship at night, and there was hardly anybody ever there. And they had all kinds of games there that you could play. And I'm not, you like games.
I do. I
Ruthy
really do.
loves games, and Denise likes
She's
games.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a big table board game.
I love it.
Yeah, I know you do. And so you got us started when we first got married. We'd go over to your house and play, and we played Trust Me. That was the first one that almost caused a divorce in our home. Trying to think of it.
After married a month,
Yeah.
almost got a divorce.
That was bad.
That was awesome.
That was the first time I ever
All
saw
I knew is something must have happened on the way home, because whenever I came into church that morning, Doc Thompson came in about 15 minutes later, and he walked by my office and said, "I got to play that game." And I knew, wow, this went all the way to Daddy.
Yeah, it was something. So that was the first time I ever saw Ruthy really upset. She got mad because I lied to her.
I guess so.
Well, it was part of the game, though.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, you had to deceive people to win
No,
this game.
you don't have to deceive people.
Well, if you want to
Not
win, you
ever.
do. If you want to win, you
No,
do.
not ever. We just do it. Because it's
we
part of the
like
game.
it. Tons of fun.
Oh, that was so
Excuse
good. I had seen what was under this thing, and so I cashed my money out, my stocks, put it in the cash.
Yeah.
And Denise knew that I'd seen that piece, and so she converted all of her money to all of her stocks to cash. So Ruthy was next, and she's going. He said, "Oh yes, trust me.
Invest.
This is a double. You're going to double your investment." And she goes, "On your Christian honor?" And he said, "Well, we don't need to bring that into this." And I mean, that
still
was
did
such
it.
a big,
I
clear
know.
sign.
I
And she
tried.
still trusted you,
Yeah.
and you flipped that thing over and went,
Bankrupt.
"Oh man,
She was out of the game.
she was hot."
You lied
And
to me.
you lied to me.
You
Well,
deceived
yeah,
me.
it's part of the game. Yeah, And then there was I tried to help smooth things
Yeah,
over.
help.
I was saying, yeah, he probably lied whenever he said he loves you.
He did.
I bet you did. He probably lied whenever he said you're the only one. And I mean, just on and on. I tried to
These are my
to
friends.
help
These are my friends.
your marriage
Yeah.
situation. So
What's really bad is that was 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
That was more than that, because we've been married 39 years in June, and we were just newlyweds.
so a little less than 40.
Yeah. But you still remember that in that detail.
Oh yes.
I don't remember all
It
those
was
details.
so good.
You've got a great memory.
I remember that because I don't get him back that easily, that badly.
No.
That was bad. That was real bad.
Well, you did try to get me back bad when you knocked on the door of our honeymoon hotel suite at 11 o'clock with a Monopoly board in your hand. Knocking on the door, and I told Ruthy, "Don't open it. It's Dan. Don't open it, Stan." And she goes, "We should open it. We should open it." I said, "No, they'll never leave." And
Yes, because I tried for almost 3 weeks to find out where you were going to
Yeah.
be spending your
Oh.
honeymoon, and I finally figured it out. You let the cat out of the bag because I told you before. I said, "Man, that's where we spent our honeymoon. It's a really nice place, our wedding night." And so you refused to let me know, and then somehow you said something like, good place. You're right. And then oh yeah.
Yeah. So they just left it at the door, and I knew who it was, but we didn't open it. So, wow. We missed our flight that next morning. We slept in. We were so tired. That wedding day is
yes.
exhausting. We slept in. We missed our flight, and we go to the airport, and Ruthy's crying. It's our honeymoon. We missed our flight. And the girl's like, "I'll get you on another one." So we got out. We get to Florida, and the guy says, "Okay, so you've got a car rental?" "Yes." I said. He goes, "Do you have your license?" I said, "Yes." I gave him my driver's license. I was only 21.
Yes.
I needed to be 25 back then to rent a car as a guy. And we're like, "What are we going to do?" Ruthie's like, "What are we going to do? I got no car. How are we going to get around?" The guy says, "Well, how old are you?" And she said, "I'm 21. And he goes, "Well, I can rent to you." So
Because a woman.
a woman,
Yeah.
yeah, more responsible at 21. So she gets in the car. She drives out of the driveway. She's going the wrong way on a one-way street. I said, "Pull over. Pull the car over. I'm driving." She said, "You're not allowed to." I said,
not allowed
"I'm
to."
driving." And I've taken the wheel ever since.
That is
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's funny. So funny things that happen. Well, I think that's about our wrap-up time.
Here we go.
It's been a good time. And I want to thank you for inviting me to do this six and a half years ago. It has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
Joint collaborative effort.
Yep. And we've made a lot of friends, and we've had a little bit of influence. And
we've had a blast.
We've had a blast. Yeah.
This has been fun.
It really has. And with our wives especially. Oh, man. And we've been able to poke some fun at people. And thank you for allowing us to do that.
Poked us in the nose back.
Yeah, maybe you've wanted to. I hope not. And we hope that we can continue on. We hope, as always, if there's somebody that you think would maybe be interested in what we're doing, pass that word on about Tiim Talks. A lot of folks are good
We don't
about
advertise.
No.
It's just word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and as we travel and let people know, and it's been awesome. And
6.5 years, there are 1,000, 2,000 independent Baptist podcasts.
Oh,
we were the first.
Yeah.
Truly, the first that I know of at all.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of searching. I didn't find anybody who had a podcast other than we'll replay our sermons from Sunday.
Right. So, and people ask us all the time, how many people listen? We really have no sure way of knowing.
Yeah, there are some facts and figures that we do get.
Yeah.
But it increases all the time.
It does. It's in the thousands. Mm-hmm. I would say somewhere between 6,000 and 8,000 people we figure listen, something like that. We don't know for sure, but by the number of people that tell us they do, it's a good number. Mm-hmm. And we've never done it for really number recognition or anything like that. Obviously, there's no money involved, so it's just our hearts to you in trying to help. And we would ask you to continue to send us those topics that you want to hear. Something that's relevant.
I don't think we'll ever crack into the top 100, because there's a lot of ministries that are, national visibility ministries. And so, there's just no way that you're going to break into that number of group of people there, but we'll do the best we can.
Yeah, and we don't really have the connection to do that. Mm-hmm. Pretty small potatoes, really, but we're potatoes. The eyes have it.
I'm a French fry.
I'm Al Stone, and I am thrilled to have been able to do this 1,000 times with you. And I look forward to many, many more. I want to thank those who have been so kind to us.
Yes.
Those who have written.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those who have written and, just shared their hearts, thank you for that. We appreciate that, and we love you for that. I'm Al Stone. I'm traveling for the Canadian Gospel Project, finishing up Canada with the gospel, and now starting the American Gospel Project. I'll be meeting with Brother Stensis this Friday just to get a plan of how we're going to go about that, but just raising awareness and how we're going to do that. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Well, this is Dan Wolven in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you for giving us the ratings that you have, the good reviews, and please make sure that you subscribe to your favorite podcast listening platform.
Yeah. So from us to you, God bless you. Have a great day, and continue to listen to the Tiim Talks. God bless you.
You've been listening to Tiim Talks, taking interest in ministry, with new podcasts added each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. To learn more about your hosts, Dr. Al Stone and Pastor Dan Wolven, you can visit us at tiimtalks.com. That's TIIM Talks.com.